So much healing that comes from just saying the things that you thought you could never say.
Do you think people take action after they use your app? Or does it become just another side of our comfort zone, where our thoughts and feelings go to die instead of being voiced to the right people?
This silencing of men that has become a commonplace that we really need to work against. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that everybody has a voice here. Everybody has a voice in their life. And this is the place where anybody, anywhere can start to work through some of that. Our best friend in life on this entire journey is your intuition. If you don't have your intuition, I don't know what you have. Everything in our lives is teaching us to find this quiet, yet it seems to be the hardest thing for people to do. That is the danger of wearing the masks. But why do we wear the masks? Because we don't feel comfortable showing up as who we are.
It is through this vulnerability that humans mostly connect. Because me and you might not connect in a level of success and having rich parents, living in a good or bad neighborhood. So we do not connect through our best parts. We connect through our perhaps most vulnerable parts, because we all fear, we all feel jealous, we all fall in love and then out of love, and we are afraid to. So I downloaded your app and I got a good feel for it, I think. I must admit, for a second, it felt good to see that I'm not alone in feeling this frustration for life. And the posts were so heartfelt, mostly painful, but completely real emotions of people who are either going through something similar things that I've been through in the past or that I'm currently dealing right now. What do you see as the most common thing that people share in your app?
Humanity. I would say the most common thing is that we all are sharing so many experiences without even realizing it. This app, Air Out, teaches us how unoriginal we are in some of our struggles. And I don't say that to demean anything or put anybody down, because I'm right there with you. But it's a tool that we can use to realize that we all go through these moments of doubts, self-doubts, and frustrations and everyday occurrences that seem small, but they build up and they tear us down. And you realize how much extra weight we are all carrying around that we don't have to.
Right, right. And it is through this vulnerability that humans mostly connect. Because me and you might not connect in a level of success and having rich parents, living in a good or bad neighborhood. So we do not connect through our best parts. We connect through our perhaps most vulnerable parts, because we all fear, we all feel jealous, we all fall in love and then out of love, and we are afraid to, to stop committing to this person who's been around us for long enough. So yeah, absolutely, I totally see what you mean there.
And that is it. There is so much power in anonymity. When you take away
Hmm.
any identifying factors, what we look like, where we live, what we're into, what we eat, what we drive, what we have for a family, if we have any disabilities, anything that makes, added challenges to our lives, all of that becomes mute. It becomes nothing, non-existent when we live in an anonymous space like Air Out. And that was the whole point, is that we have enough social media. So we like to joke that we are the world's first anti-social media, in the sense that you get all the benefits of self-expression and being able to share your life without any of the nonsense that just ends up making us feel worse. We do so many things to ourselves that if we're already running kind of low in a day, that just nosedive us down, and we don't have to do that. And it's through the comparisons or seeing how other people are doing, or even if you're engaging, let's say you want to express yourself in traditional social media, let's say Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, whatever it may be, you are going to get feedback, whether you like it or not. You're going to get a lot of comments. Some of them are probably going to make you feel really terrible. that you didn't ask for. You were in a moment of vulnerability. You just wanted to express yourself. And that's another thing, too, is that we need to start identifying when we actually want advice or when we just want to feel heard. Because most of the time, we just want to get it off our chest. So if we don't have
Right.
a safe space, we'll call it, in traditional social media where you open yourself up, whether it's an anonymous post or not, even on those platforms, you're still going to get attacked. You're going to get notifications about that. What's beautiful about Air Out is that not only are we all even, we're all equal. Doesn't matter where in the world you are, how old you are, what you're going through, but it's also that it's a place where we can all go and feel completely safe because no one's going to come at you. So there's no judgment, there's no guilt, there's no shame. You can be exactly who you are, where you are in that moment, and own it. And where else in life can we do that and feel safe about it?
Not many places, that is for sure. Not many places. Especially in the West,
Yeah.
where we have become so much more atomized and we have run away from the community and the families that could have been there for us in the past. But now we just simply don't care about them anymore. And to your point
Yeah.
about the online, sometimes you're even gonna put great content. Like you're gonna add value, it's gonna be positive, and then it's gonna be that one asshole there who is just ruin your day and make you doubt yourself for being such a positive impact into the world. And that's the last thing you need after, the long day and after you've put so much work into actually making something good.
Exactly. You are already in a vulnerable state, and then you are taking on all of this extra weight that you don't have to. And so I think it's just so important for all of us to have a place. And I like to use this example in a relationship because it's so relatable for people that you get into a fight with your spouse. It's going to happen. It happens. And
Mhm.
if you take that problem to an external person, often like a parent or a friend or a colleague, whatever, you and your partner will most likely, if you're committed to staying together, work out that disagreement. But that outside person will never forget. They will always have a sense of judgment and opinion about it. So you have allowed yourself to open up to someone, which you felt safe and trusting to do so. But a lot of the time, you'll end up paying the price because you will want to move on with your partner. And now you're going to have this jaded reminder of how terrible it was and how you shouldn't be doing that. And people are always
Mm.
going to be, whether they say it or not, you will feel that judgment. And I don't know about in your life if you've ever taken the opportunity to open up to someone and you left the conversation feeling worse, wishing that you hadn't even spoken to them. And how many of us have found ourselves in that position in life? Like, we don't all have that completely trusting, open, there for you, honest best friend available 24/7. I think that's kind of an idyllic dream, really, that people trick themselves into thinking they have. We're all complicated. We all have feelings and judgments. That's just who we are. So I don't know if there ever has been a true neutral source. This is
Right.
Arrow. It's kind of like a Dear Diary moment, if you will, but modernized. And so that we use the power of journaling, which has been well researched and proven time and time again for moving energy. And we're bringing it into a digital format, 24/7 availability in your pocket. So you're talking to your
Mhm.
boss, you're in line at the store, you are at the gym, whatever it may be, and something comes up. You have a place to put it. You don't have to wait until the end of the day when you can go and scribble it all out and work through it, right?
Right, right. And that's so big. The thing you said before, how you go out and you trust someone dear to you, and then maybe again, maybe it was just you were expressing your thoughts, and you're not really. You said you're gonna divorce your husband, but you didn't really mean it. And now this person is gonna keep hitting you back with that. It's like, oh, but you wanted to divorce him last week, and he's not good for you. And then the gossiping, and suddenly a friend who you haven't talked in years, when you meet, is like, oh,
Mhm.
did you divorce your husband? I heard. It's like, and it becomes even so more toxic that you
Exactly.
just want to run
A-
away from it.
And then you wish that you never said anything in the
Yeah,
first place. And then what is that teaching you? Don't open up, don't
yeah.
share, don't express yourself, push it down, push it down, push it down.
Which
And
you should
then how
express yourself. Yeah,
you
yeah.
have
You
to
have to.
express yourself. It is essential to take it and run through you. So, and I love what you said that let's say you don't even mean it. Okay. Especially in
Mhm.
motherhood. I have 3 young children. This app was initially designed for parents in the struggles, but then expanded because there's not a single person that couldn't benefit from this form of
Mhm.
expression. So there are different chat areas. But let's use the example of a mother who's having a very challenging day. Little kids, very hands on, high needs, physical touch, screaming, the noise, the chaos, all of it. And maybe she's thinking to herself, I never should have became a mom. I wish I didn't do this. Who can she say that to
Right.
without judgment? Right. So she
Yeah.
can't say that to anybody because they'll say, you're so lucky. You're so blessed. And yes, she is absolutely. But she's allowed in that moment to be overstimulated and overwhelmed and stretched really thin and express that. And so when you even talk about these thoughts that come at us, half the time we don't even mean them. We just want to say them. So if you're with a spouse and they're making you crazy and you say, I can't do this anymore. I want to be on my own. Do you really mean that?
Mm.
Maybe, for sure, sometimes,
Yeah.
but a lot of the times you don't. And it's just a thought. And if we look at what a thought is too, it's just a series of words in a particular format designed to make you feel something. It's not actually yours. Your brain is looking for words to associate with the feelings you are having. And in that motherhood example, you are in fight or flight. You want to get out. You're doubting everything. It's too much. You feel like you can't breathe. It's crushing. So your brain is going, okay, let's try and process this. This is not good. This is bad for you. You should get out of here. You never should have done that. That's not actually how you feel. But you can't call someone and say, I don't want to be a mom anymore. They're going to say, get a grip. Too bad.
Yeah.
You're a mom. You did this. Do you know how many people want to be moms and can't be? Like, and then how do you feel?
Guilt
This
trip you.
big.
Uh,
You feel so small, so
yeah.
full of guilt, so full of shame. And then you're going to carry that forward through your day, right?
Yeah.
So then you're going to move forward. Every single interaction for the rest of the day is going to be under the disguise of I'm I'm guilty, I'm shameful, I don't know why I feel this way. Other mothers are better than me. I don't measure up and I have this dirty dark secret. But you don't. You just need somewhere to move that energy.
Yeah. And I can see that trickling down to your kids later or to your spouse, and how that energy will just, you're gonna shout when you shouldn't have shouted. You're gonna become passive aggressive when all you want it is to release that negative emotion of your body. Because sometimes not everyone has the same capacity of how much you can carry. And unless you find a very productive way, maybe you have a gym, maybe you have yoga, maybe, or maybe you don't have time to do any of those things. I can see how not managing it correctly is just going to trickle down to your family, and then your husband will or your wife will start making imaginary thoughts of why is she like this, maybe I've done something wrong, and then it goes on forever and forever.
Exactly. It's a web and it just
Yeah.
spreads and you can have a completely different experience. So what we're talking about here, and like, yes, I love yoga. I'm a yoga teacher. I stand by that wholeheartedly. I
Nice.
love journaling, but those are things that take time. You have to
Mhm.
commit to the time. You have to make the effort to go. You have to put it in your schedule, especially if you're busy with work and family. What this is the in between. This is the stop, whoa, check in with yourself. Because if we don't let that go in the moment, let's say we have, bad experience at work. Let's use work for an example. Super relatable. You feel like your boss is playing favorites again. You're in a dead end job. You owe way more in student debt than you're ever going to make to pay off. You're questioning every decision you've ever made in life. All that is going to start snowballing, right? And then you get on the bus and all of a sudden there's no seat for you, or all of a sudden someone spills their drink on you. And then you get home and you walk in the door and you are
Yeah.
just ready to explode. So let's say you do explode. So you're like, you wouldn't believe the day I had, and no one appreciates me. No one sees my value. No one cares about me. Wow. Everyone else in that house just got hit with that.
Yeah.
And they're going to take that and absorb it, and it's going to spread. Now, let's say he's in his boss's office, he or she, feeling like they're never going to get that promotion. They open up a tool like Arrow. They grab a piece of paper. It's like a journal, right? And they write it out. And half the time, that is the answer in itself. You just need to physically write it, to read it,
Hmm.
to actually be able to process it. So you write it out and think, I'm a loser and I'm never going to go anywhere in life and I'm such a disappointment. You hit send into the void, the anonymous void of expression where no one knows where you are, who you are, and will never say anything to you because there is no way to comment or like. You just
Yeah.
send it out there. And then you're sitting at your desk being like, I'm actually not a loser. My boss is just kind of a jerk, and maybe this isn't the right job for me. So, because you were able to take that moment and just turn it, face it head on, as opposed to just holding it, you do that how many times throughout the day, and you walk in the door, you're going to have a completely different experience. You're going to show up completely differently to your family, and then that in turn is going to trickle down to everybody.
Love it. Love it. This analogy came into mind that you are a nuke, ready to explode, and you enter home and you explode, and then that radioactivity is slowly killing everyone else around you. Whereas this app is the diffuser. It's like right before it explodes, it's like diffuse, 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 diffuse. So yeah, that was a funny
Yes.
analogy.
I love that. That is the thing. So, this is where people need to learn to help themselves, though. So, this tool exists. It's fantastic.
Mhm.
I know firsthand how much better it can make you feel. But what we need to do before we get the benefit is be willing to face these thoughts. And that's where a lot of people
Yes.
aren't just yet. They want to carry it around and feel a bit victimized by it, which is fair. That's normal, but and it's scary. You don't necessarily want to turn around and face these thoughts. But when you realize I'm having these thoughts, but they are not mine, they're not necessarily me, they're just an expression of who I am, you learn to turn into them a little more. And
Mhm.
that's where the hard part is learning to pay attention and to be able to express those moments as they come up before they start to build. Because then you stay calm, you stay centered, and that's what this really is. It's a tool to cut through the noise, a lot of the mental emotional clutter that you'll pick up throughout your day, to keep coming back to you in a peaceful place. So people have to start paying attention to their thoughts, and when you do and you start playing with your thoughts in this way, not being scared of them, that is when everything changes.
Yeah. And that's what it is. It's just clutter. So to me, this app is, in my opinion, is a portal to the most painful aspects of life: the regret, disappointment, loneliness. And I don't mean it in a bad way. Sometimes you just need insight of the darkest
Yeah.
corners of our hearts. And the best use I can see for it for me is to read other people's regrets and get really scared of not wanting to ending up in a similar situation. And that is motivation enough for me to start actually taking action and to make some changes in my life. Do you think people take action after they use your app? Or does it become just another side of our comfort zone where our thoughts and feelings go to die instead of being voiced to the right people?
I think it is twofold. And what you said is the feedback I have received from a lot of users so far. So, first of all, we are
Huh.
new. We are the new kid in town. We've only been up and running since January 2025, Apple Store and Google Play. So, Apple, Android. But so we are just getting the ball rolling here. But from
Yeah.
what I've heard from users is that number one, they love to read the posts because it makes them feel less alone. And the irony in that is that I've had people challenge me, say, well, how can there be a sense of community and how can you feel less alone if you can't interact with other users? Because again, there's no identifying information, no usernames,
Yeah.
nothing, no
Nothing.
likes, comments. I said, because that's the beauty of it. We don't need to have a dialogue. We need to see and feel. Some of these posts, you can feel what people are
Oh,
going
for
through
sure. For
in
sure.
that moment. And that's all you need is to think, wow, this is making me feel something. I'm going to do something with that. So I think if people are going to change their lives and take action as a result of what they read in the app, I think that's a beautiful byproduct and another potential huge benefit. But primarily, it's to serve people in that moment. So while I know
Mm.
people love to read it, I encourage you to share because that's actually where the release comes from. And it's scary. And people will say, well, I don't want to open up. I had a friend who I grew up say, well, those are normally the things I just keep inside.
Hmm.
Like, yes, many people do, but that's exactly it. So if you
That's
have
the
nothing
point.
to lose and no one is ever going to know it's you, why don't you just try it? So I say, just try with something simple, something small, and see how you feel. And instantly, you will have this sense of relief. Like it just
Hmm.
slides off your shoulders. And then all of
Hmm.
a sudden, when you thought you didn't have anything to say, it snowballs. And then you have a comment for this chat and that chat and this one and that one. And then before you know it, you are in a place of peace. Now I use the app so much where I wake up sometimes and I'm like, my mind is completely clear. Like I feel so neutralized and at home base because I am waiting, ready for that thought to come down the conveyor belt and for me to be able to sort it and move it. So I'm not hanging on to stuff. I'm not waking up the next day with a hangover from the stuff I didn't process the day before. And that's where the magic is. And that's
Hmm.
where I want people to really try it. I know it's scary. People ask me, well, can you see on the back end? I cannot see on the back end. And you also sign up with a random
Why
email.
would
So
you
I
do
have
it
no
anyway?
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea who you are, where you are, like whatever email you want. Okay. I cannot see it. No one can see it. And it's just, that is what this is made for you to feel that release.
Mhm.
And I have this analogy, if you will. Imagine people are asking you to hold something physical. Okay, let's say I hand you like a drink and I'm like, hey, can you hang on to this? You're like, yeah, okay, sure. I hand you another one. I hand you another one. I hand you another one. How many until it starts to be obnoxious, start to
Yeah.
change your mood, start to be too much to carry, and you start to get annoyed with me? Now, imagine all those drinks are just thoughts. So
Mhm.
it comes and you don't move it anywhere. You don't take the drink and move it to a shelf. You don't put it on a desk. You just hang on to it. Pretty easy to see that in a matter of a short amount of time, enough thoughts are going to completely transform you and how you feel because you just didn't sort them.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Oh, so nice. I love this conversation. I've noticed, okay, so as I went through, I've noticed some common patterns in different sections. So for women, they tend to feel mostly unseen and lonely. Men tend to feel more regretful, and a big part of the issues is not being able to please their wives or pleasing some of them. And when it comes to love, people felt resentful and unhappy so much. And almost all of them stay in relationships where they're faking it. What are the biggest insights your app has given you about how human psychology and subsequently romantic relationships work?
I have seen, and what's interesting is because in the app you can be young and dating, you can be more mature and dating,
Mhm.
married, like all different levels of relationship show up here, even previous, like longing for relationships that could have been, should have been. I've noticed a common thread that we are all actually very lonely, and that comes
Mm,
across is that it does not matter what you are doing in life. And again, I don't know these people in the app. Maybe they make $10 million a year. Maybe they make $20,000 a year. I don't know. But loneliness is a common thread, and that shows up in every aspect. You mentioned motherhood. Yes. Feeling unseen and undervalued is like a primary complaint, if you will, from
mhm,
moms. It's the invisible load, the mental load, and that is what kills you, and that is what tears you down and brings on a lot of negative thoughts and makes you feel really, you know, worthless in a lot of ways. And for men, my husband's been really great because he's been along for this journey and has been testing the app with me, and he said really early on that for the first time in his life, he feels like he has a place to express himself. Because when you're talking about men and women, dads and moms, he's saying that a lot of dads don't feel like they have a right to complain. They don't feel like they have a right to voice their concerns when it comes to a mother in a traditional family setup, we'll say, um, that has all of that responsibility, that already feels so undervalued. They feel like they can't express themselves. And that's not fair. Everyone in a family has their own challenges and deserves to express themselves. And it's and a lot of the times it becomes a competition, tit for tat, in relationships and with young kids.
Unfortunately.
But really, like, you're doing your job, I'm doing my job, and we are both entitled to have our challenges. And I think having a dedicated space for dads is huge when we talk about like modern masculinity and being able to express yourself. Like, no longer do we need to just have this blanket emotion of anger. Like, let's start to pay attention to how we're feeling throughout the day and work through that so that we can start to identify if it's, more anxiety or sadness or fear or whatever it is creeping in, so that we don't just have that big explosion at the end of the day. And for men to have a space to open up where they aren't going to be attacked and say, well, you should try being the one to have the kids. I'm with the kids all the time. Like, it happens. And that's not a positive space to open up. So I think it's this silencing of men that has become a commonplace that we really need to work against. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that everybody has a voice here.
Yeah.
Everybody has a voice in their life. And this is the place where anybody, anywhere can start to work through some of that, because it is what will change who you are in your relationships. And life is just, honestly, this sounds so cliche, but like, too short to carry around what's not yours. And it's so simple once we start to do it. But the loneliness is a factor for sure. And it's sad in a way, but also
Yeah.
quite indicative of the world that we live in, which is so digital. Which
Exactly.
is, I mean, even when you think you're connecting on social media, you're not connecting.
Not
That's
really.
not,
Not really.
you're perfect
Well, with
poised.
memes,
Like,
what are you with memes
it,
and shorts? Come on.
exactly. What you
Yeah.
want is for someone to feel you, like at a
Mm-hmm.
heart level, so
Mm-hmm.
that you feel safe and seen and heard. And that's the funny part, is that when you take away the social aspect and then you have a place like Air Out, you actually feel more connected and valued and heard than you ever would have by actually speaking to people, because of the level of expression.
There's something you said before about men and women, which is that one of the fundamental sex differences is that women tend to have friend circles that acknowledge one's feelings, but this is so discouraged among men. Very few men want to talk about their feelings. Most find it even emasculating or think of it as a weakness. If you were to speak to some of those men, and you are to convince them why is it good for them as men and especially as fathers to actually share more of their emotional world.
Because you can't have people get close to a wall. If you are closed off and you are setting this projection of, this is who I am, this is how I show up, how can anyone really get to the heart of who you are? And how are you ever going to get out of that? And it can't feel good to deny yourself all of these feelings and expression that
Yeah.
are so natural and normal. And I think that this is just the starting place, because you don't have to say, oh, well, I'm going to go talk to somebody, or I'm going to start journaling, or I'm joining a writer's club, or I'm going to try yoga. Like, no one even has to know that you're trying this. So you don't have to tell anybody. And it's in that moment of being able to acknowledge, like, hey, I feel like I am handcuffed to my job. I feel incredible financial pressure to provide for this family. I feel like my needs and my desires come last, and no one actually cares about them, because
Mhm.
the kids are going to come first. Then my wife is going to need this and that. And that would feel terrible. You do matter. Your thoughts matter. Your feelings matter. And if you want to enrich your family experience and your relationship, and even just your life, your relationship with yourself, it comes from acknowledging that. And again, half of it might not even be true. You just need to say it. So
Mm.
start to pay
Yeah.
attention to those feelings. Don't be scared to type it out and to own it. And if you're harboring, maybe some challenges from your own relationship with your dad. That's another thing too. The moms and dads are not just for moms and dads. It's for anybody that has a mom and dad that wants to talk about their relationship with their parents. There's so much healing that comes from just saying the things that you thought you could never say. And let's say you grew up in the 80s and your dad was really tough on you. Maybe he
Yeah.
was a drinker and maybe you just did not relate and you felt like a constant disappointment and you could never speak to him about that stuff. Well, I mean, you don't necessarily have to speak to him. It's you and your feelings that you need to address. So now you could be in your 40s and you can go to this app and say, I was always scared I'd be a terrible dad like him. I never thought
Yeah.
I'd be able to be better than him. I never thought I'd be able to love because he didn't show me how to love.
That's
Like,
tough.
ooh, I just got chills. Like the power in being able to say that. And you think about the healing from just acknowledging those
Yeah.
worries that you've been carrying around for 40 years.
Crazy. Crazy. But do you think, and again, when I ask this question, I have in mind just the youngest generation right now, anyone who's like 18 to 22. Do you think women would actually want a man who is emotionally attuned? Or is it something that sounds good in paper, but once you counter it, perhaps it's a bit boring, perhaps it's a bit unattractive for most people? Because that's something that I've noticed, especially when it comes to the younger generations, because they value more superficial aspects of one's
Yes.
life. What do you think on this?
So I think all of that comes down to your intention, which is a common problem with, let's say, the Gen Z, the young daters
Mhm.
now, is what are you really looking for and how authentic are you willing to be? So if you are showing up with, maybe just wanting to date around, date for the story, like have a good time, then of course, someone being in touch with themselves and expressing their true feelings isn't going to be attractive because you're not in that place. You are coming with a mask on. You are coming with an ulterior motive, which is totally fine. You're
Yeah.
young, have fun, but own that. So I think that when and if you get to the place where you do want a true lifelong partnership, you do want to expose your thoughts, your fears, and your worries and build a life with someone, I don't see any negative aspect to having a man be in touch with his feelings. And I think this generation of young men growing up now might just be the best generation of men we've ever seen. They're going to be tremendous fathers. They're going to be
Interesting.
tremendous grandfathers. They are more supportive partners than we've ever seen. They're more hands on. They're more thoughtful. They're more caring. And I think that is a beautiful thing when you are in the right place to receive that. But again, it comes down to
Hmm.
your intention with what you're looking for. And I just caution that if you do want to date and have fun, great. Just remember that there is someone else on the other side and their intentions may be different than yours. And just respect that, maybe sometimes someone is opening up because that's where they are, and to not stomp all over their heart. I mean, that's a tale as old as time that goes through every dating decade, but
Oh
and
well.
just communicate clearly too. Express what you're actually looking for, and if it's just for fun and hanging out, great. But don't tell someone that you're looking for long term if you're not willing to open up yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, well, let's talk about relationships. It's going there. Reading
Yeah.
some of the unhappy married events in the app, it reminded me how people get into relationships for the wrong reason. Either they date narcissists, weirdos, boring people, you name it, and it has become so exhausting, the whole dating scene, that you either check out or you decide to settle for whoever is the best out of your worst choices,
Mhm.
either because you don't want to be alone and or for whatever else reason that is very specific to you. What do you make of modern dating, especially through the lenses of your app?
Well, I personally have been off the market for some time, so
Lucky
I
you.
don't know
Lucky you.
the full
What
ins
you
and
see and
outs.
what you hear.
But when I was dating, which is even just a decade ago, I mean, it's really, really hard
Mhm.
because you have people that, it's really a unique set of challenges for dating right now because we are fully digital. There are shifting norms and we have heightened awareness around mental health and identity like we've never had before. So there are so many more moving parts and vulnerabilities at play. To find that connection is even harder. If you have two people that are closed off and, they don't want to acknowledge anything beyond you're attractive, let's hang out. Great. But now people are like, no, I want to feel heard and seen. I want to be connected. And this is my identity. And I think family issues are still a huge challenge. We've seen that, since the beginning of time, families not accepting the other partner or falling for someone that maybe isn't the right fit, someone that's taken. I mean, these are classic tales. And now it's harder than ever in some ways. But also, I think it's easier because people are being more upfront. We know ourselves better than we ever have before.
You
Let's say
think
that we
so?
are more, I do believe that we are more
Hmm.
emotionally in touch with ourselves and aware of what we're looking for than we ever have been before. We pay attention to our thoughts, our needs. We are better at voicing them, communicating what we're looking for. Of course, there's still major challenges in
Yeah.
the dating world. It's always that way. But I mean, even if you look back 20 years ago, the conversations we're having now around identity and acceptance and self expression were not the ones we were having 20 years ago. So,
Yeah.
in that sense, we are coming to the table as different people, more open people. And I think that part's exciting. But in the app, there has been a fair share of challenges shared, which are, and that's the thing. The app can be this huge release of heavy thoughts, heavy feelings, but it's also really fun. And we can have some cute stuff in there that like makes you laugh and brightens your day.
Yeah.
Like
It's
someone
all on
was
negative, yeah.
posting, yeah, someone the other day was posting about, oh, the hot guy's working at the cafe and he's so cute. It makes this person feel nauseous. Like, that's fun. You can give us like, your on the go confessions, or people saying that they have trips booked. They feel like they need to break up with their partner, but they have a prepaid trip 3 months down the road. Well, it's a bit of a pickle to be in, I'd say.
Good luck. Good luck.
Another person saying that they pretended to be a food delivery person to buzz a neighbor in the apartment building to get past the door to go surprise their ex.
Oh, well, I hope that went well.
We'll never know,
We'll never
unless they
know.
come back and share. But and I think those are the moments though that like who would you say that to? Who would you turn
Yeah.
and say, guess what I did? Like maybe a friend, but you'd probably be a little embarrassed, probably feel some judgment around that. But I think being able to express that, the lengths you're going to feel validated and seen and less lonely in a place where no one's going to judge you for it is a beautiful thing. But love makes you do kind of wild stuff, and
It
we've all
does.
been there.
It does. It does, yeah. And it's tough out there. It's tough out there. To me, modern dating feels like an elaborate recruitment process sometimes. You know how we judge people on their CV, and if we don't like what is written on it, on the surface, we just dismiss the candidate altogether. Although, despite them giving quite a good interview, they, I can find someone better for this role, and we always in this lookout, never finding the right person because the grass is greener on the other side. And moreover, we definitely fabricate CVs to pretend to be who we're not, but we
Mm-mm.
both try to impress each other with a persona. And if we end up liking each other, we basically like each other's portrayed self, not like we just love the performance. And that goes back to how long can you keep that performance until you get together? Some people even get married to not the real selves, just to this performance. So that was just what I was thinking before reading on your app. It's like mind-boggling, but also eye-opening.
Absolutely. That is the danger of wearing the masks. But why do we wear the masks? Because we don't feel comfortable showing up as who we are. We feel like we
Hmm.
have to be something different. We have to show that we are better than
Yeah,
what we actually are.
constantly.
So if we all just take some time to work with ourselves, to sounds again so cliche, like love ourselves, to work through some of that, to truly meet ourselves where we are, then we are going to have a more authentic experience. You're still going to encounter people that of course are not being themselves, but if we all start to take a little bit more ownership in that, because if you look at the common threads in dating and marriages and just life in general, are feeling lonely and being untrusting. We wear masks a lot of the time because we're untrusting. We don't trust other people, but we also don't trust ourselves. And so if we spend more time with ourselves,
Yes.
working through some of those thoughts and feelings that come up throughout the day, what you're going to do is broaden your intuition. Your intuition is going to become that much stronger, that much better. You're going to be better at setting boundaries with relationships. You're going to know what works for you and what doesn't, and you're going to do that with confidence. So when you have this heightened intuition, this heightened love for your authentic self, you will also be able to better spot the people that are just being bullshitters or
That's
who are
golden.
showing up as themselves, the other people that have done that work as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That resonated so much with me because when you're not authentic to yourself, how will you be able to recognize authenticity on someone else? It just doesn't make sense because you like recognizes like, and if you are constantly
Yes.
suppressing your true real self, you're only gonna attract the people who are doing the same, and then you're gonna be like, oh, I can't find someone. Oh, whatever. Everyone, all men are assholes. All women are this. All people are that. No, that's because first of all, you didn't show up for yourself, but now you
Mm-hmm.
don't even show up for others because it's not you. It's the mask. It's the persona.
Exactly. And even having thoughts like that, like all men are garbage, all women are garbage, that is not
It's
good
not
to
serving you.
carry
It's not serving
around.
you.
It's just a bunch of words, but it has weight to it. And we
Mhm.
have to take ownership over our mindset too. Thoughts are insanely powerful. They create your reality. And that's why this work is so important for people to start doing, because you can throw away what's garbage, like a thought like that. You start to type it out. Let's say, you meet another guy, let's say guy, for example, and he is just a loser and you are frustrated and you're like, every guy sucks. I hate all men. This is pathetic. You go on
Uh,
like the app and you start to write that out and then you send it off and then you look at it and you're going to have that same reaction. Like, well, you know, maybe that's not true. Maybe, that's not true. Not everybody sucks. Like this guy's okay and this guy's
yeah.
okay. And
Yeah.
like, because you just didn't let yourself stay in that place. And our best friend in life on this entire journey is your intuition. If you don't have your intuition, I don't know what you have. And I truly believe that this is what should be taught in elementary schools.
Oh, good
My
luck.
my twins are 5, they're in kindergarten, my littlest is almost 4, and the stuff they're learning, I'm like, why are we wasting time? They have like a 20-minute attention span. Why are we busy learning about whatever irrelevant topic when we could
Yeah.
be teaching them how to sit quiet, how to find their own voice, how to develop their own intuition, because it will never steer you wrong. This entire app is a project of intuition. The idea came to me in a dream. I had been asking the universe, like, I really want to help people that are in my situation, that feel like they can't trust anyone, that feel like they don't have anywhere to
Mm.
turn. This idea came to me in a dream, and it was so profound. I started emailing app development companies in the middle of the night because I do not have a tech background. This was a
Yeah.
wild swing in life, did not see this coming. Wanted to quit 100 times, but every step along the way, I'd check in and I'd feel this project. Did I feel it had a place here? Did it need to exist? And
Mm.
every time it was like, yes. So you just keep going. But that's all to say that if you don't have your intuition, you don't have that home base to come and check in with, you're going to live in your head. And then that's when you're going to be analyzing everybody and everything, whether it's in a relationship or at work, when really we need to stop thinking and start feeling.
Mhm.
And that happens when we stop hearing so much, when we cut through the noise. So it's so simple, but it's actually very complex, and the
Yeah.
benefits are tremendous.
Yeah. And that is also, well, first of all, because no one teaches us how to do it. But it took me a while to understand what intuition is. Because what is it? Is it a feeling? Okay, I have many feelings. What exactly is it? How do I know this is intuition? How do I know this is my gut feeling? And to me, it just came naturally. Every now and then I would get this kind of feeling and I would trust it and it would start being right. And then the more I did it, the more I got attuned to it. And now for example, I work as a restaurant manager, so we hired the chef. The moment he shake my hand, I went to big boss and said, "Just so you know, this guy will quit. Because it's not gonna last. This guy is not for this place." And then this was my first feeling. I was like, okay, whatever. Let me bypass it. And then when I just talked to him in the kitchen, just the way I got a feeling, I got my instinct, like this guy doesn't want to be here at all. And 3 4 days later, called sick for 2 weeks and never showed up. And it is like, how do you teach that? And how do you begin trusting in that? It's so difficult. It's so complicated.
It is, but I think that there isn't necessarily teaching it as it is learning it. And I know that sounds the same, but it's not something you can read in a textbook and take in and process as new
Right.
information.
Right.
Learning it is learning how to hear the voice that is in you. We were all born with intuition. That is our great North
Mhm.
Star, our guidance. And you seem to be very in tune with it, where you can even read the energy, which is so beautiful. And I love that for you and everyone around you, because you're showing up authentic, and that is tremendous. But for other people, it's about less, like less noise, less thinking, less questioning. And it's getting to like it. For me, it lives in my gut. Like, where does your intuition live? Like, where do you hear it in your body or feel it?
Like between the heart and the gut. The gut
Yeah.
and the heart, yeah, like somewhere there in between.
Yes, and it's almost like
Yeah.
a resounding, like, and you just feel good. Yes, step forward, or no. Like, you ever see people or you pass people and you're just like, ooh, and you just like get a vibe and you're just like, ooh, I got to get away from this
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
That's just like
Yeah.
your intuition tied with your energy reading, just knowing like what's for you and what's not. And we're all here with a unique path and a unique purpose. And instead of trying to do someone else's path, which is what we do all the time, or we try to be something else, prove ourselves, if we get quiet enough, that's the key. That's what we need to teach kids, is how to sit without screens, without movies, without toys, with their eyes closed and their hands on their tummy, and feel into a decision, feel into which way to go and how to do it. And you can even play the game with yourself. I have a lovely coach who I've worked with over the years who started with, just go with a step to the left or the step to the right. Like, as you're walking, just let your intuition guide you. And that's how simple it starts. You're just listening for
Yeah.
that little voice. Do I want to go this way or that way? Okay, this way. You don't have to have a reason for it. You just trust it and you keep going. So I think it's taking away the noise and taking away the distractions and the charades and all of the games we're playing. And it's just quiet. So it's learning it because you already know it.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
being comfortable enough to sit with it. And then everything is going to improve: your dating life, your friendships, your work life balance, showing up as a parent, because you're done trying to be something. You're not questioning yourself because you're at peace with what is the right movement for you, if that makes sense.
Absolutely makes sense, no? And this, whatever intuition is very subtle. And all these distractions and all these social media are just muffling the sound that it
Mm-hmm.
makes. And it's a very subtle sound. And you cannot hear that sound in a tumultuous world. So I really understand when you said you have to be quiet, because if you're constantly overstimulated, when when are you can't feel it. It's just
Yeah,
muffled.
even just look at how you would feel, let's say, a day at an amusement park, a day at Disney, surrounded by thousands of people and moving people and waiting and lineups, and you're hungry and you're tired, and there's
It's
on the
exhausting, yeah.
loudspeaker and all the different, and people's phones are going off. Like, in any busy environment, think like, is your body at peace there? Are you feeling relaxed?
Mhm.
No, you are uptight. For a lot of people, that triggers a fight or flight response. You start to panic a little bit. You start to get overwhelmed. In some cases, you might start to disassociate. And so you think about just being in like a really busy, hectic, crazy place, even like Christmas shopping the day before, like, it doesn't feel good. So then what do? We need the opposite of what doesn't feel good. And so it's no wonder that we need this quiet. Everything in our lives is teaching us to find this quiet, yet it seems to be
Mhm.
the hardest thing for people to do.
Right, right. Okay, last thing on intuition. The way I think about it is this. Your intelligence is comprised of as many years as you've been alive. So I'm 29 years, and in that is how much education, parenting, environment. So you don't have much say in it, but it's limited. It's only like it took you 20 years of experience. The way I think intuition is all of your ancestors. So your DNA, you have the DNA of all of your ancestors since the dawn of time. And all that lived emotion and experience, it has been transmitted. It's in the DNA. So generation after generation, we inherit these traits and this feeling and this gut feeling. So your gut feeling has the experience of hundreds of thousands of I don't know how many
Mhm.
years of human intelligence, whereas your whatever fluid intelligence or what is called here is as good as long you've been alive and as good as your environment. So in a ways it should make more sense to trust your gut sometimes rather than your thoughts, because thoughts can be deceiving and words can be deceiving.
Completely. Yes, yes, yes. Thoughts are very deceiving. They're not real. They're coming from your ego half the time. They're here to bring you down to make you feel bad. Like they're no, thoughts are not to be trusted. Feelings are to be trusted. And yes, that is absolutely true as far as I'm concerned, is that we carry this information. We are born with the information of our ancestors into our code for this lifetime, so to speak, for our mission, for the things that we are set to accomplish right now. And all of that plays a huge role into it. You're born with this tremendous toolbox, this survival kit, this knowledge for how to be exactly who you are. We are born whole with the mission given to us. Here you go, take off. And it's when we start living that all of our external experiences start to dim that. They start to shape us. Oh, you can't be trusted. Oh, if I do this, then I'm bad. And if I'm bad, then no one loves me. And oh, this person made fun of me and they broke trust. And so as we evolve and we grow, less and less of this natural dialogue, this natural form of information, this guidebook gets shoved down because we're too busy living and having the human experience, which is very heavy and very hard. And every single day has unpredictable challenges come up, and we're all fighting the good fight. But really, we already have the guidebook, but
Yeah.
it exists in the quiet, first of all, and being able to sort out what's not yours. So, what happened to you in grade 3 when that kid told you that, you are ugly and guessed, like, this happened to me. I was young, and they're like, oh, you probably weigh like 85 pounds. And I remember I weighed more than that at the time. And I've never forgotten this. And I was like, wow, I don't fit in, and I'm gross, and I'm like shameful of my body and all these things. And like, that's not my human mission. That's
Exactly.
human garbage. And so I pick it up and I hold it and I'm like, yeah, I'm useless. Yeah, no, I'm terrible because I weigh that much.
Yeah.
But in reality, like, that's not us. So now as adults, we can start to like, well, I hope kids can catch on and we can teach kids these tools too. But to be like, I would turn to the app and be like, I would type that out, be like, I feel like I'm, too fat in grade 3 to have any friends and become anything. Is that true? No, it's
No.
not true. It's just something that was tossed to us, and instead of putting it on the shelf, I hung on to it. Like, and that's all it is. It's just sorting it out, and so we can keep coming back to what we're actually here for,
Exactly.
which is to be authentic and loving and kind and enjoy this experience. And we can enjoy this experience a hell of a lot more when we give the stuff that doesn't feel good somewhere to go, because
I
it's
love this
not
conversation.
you.
I love this conversation. One of the
Me too.
best. I love this conversation. All right, all right. Moving on for time's sake. But talk to me about the power of community and why is it so important?
Because we were never supposed to be alone.
Hmm.
That was never part of the plan. We are intrinsically designed to need and want to feel like we are a part of something, that we have people, that we are supported and loved, and that we're not different. A lot of people too, like, you want to feel like you are okay, you're quote unquote normal, you're doing all the things that you should be doing. And that comes from community. And if we look to the people that are like-minded, the people that make you think and help you grow and really meet you where you're at, like, you know instantly when you're in the right company, and you know instantly when you're not. And that's not to say that community is you just should be around anybody. No, you need to find the people that are like you, that think like you and feel like you, or at least challenge you in respectful and thoughtful ways, that you can learn and grow. I mean, there's so much to be learned from other people, and that's
Oh,
the
for
greatest
sure.
gift we have here, is to
For
be able
sure.
to learn. So if you find people, I don't mean like you, I mean like you in the sense that you are open-minded and you're willing to have conversations and learn, and you're curious, look for those people,
Hmm.
and your heart will feel at ease, your mind will feel peaceful, your soul will feel relaxed. But unfortunately, in this world, it's really, really hard to do that. So if we're not lucky enough to have that in real life, which a lot of us aren't, we can at least take the feeling of that from virtual sources that are cathartic, that are positive in the right ways. And that is often just bonding over vulnerabilities. So you may never meet this person or know who they are, but knowing that someone else feels you at like a heart level, that is profound. That's enough to change you.
Right. Right. And it is in those communities that you might find what we were talking about before. Like, in those communities, you're going to feel heard and seen, and not people trying to fix you and people trying to, you know, just, yeah, just,
And to feel
yeah, go
safe. I
on.
think we just want to feel safe. And
Hmm.
that's the biggest thing too. Safe that we are okay, safe that we can show up as who we are, and safe that
Yeah.
our thoughts are fine, like that we're not bad
Yeah.
or wrong or different, because we have these thoughts coming from a brain that it's just like a fancy computer. Like,
And it malfunctions sometime.
oh, does it ever? Daily. Needs a reboot daily.
All right, Courtney, last question. What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh boy, that's a good one. I haven't been asked that one before. I guess a person for the people. I want to be remembered as someone that was very human, that understood what it felt like to be really low, and to understand what it felt like to feel really high, and to celebrate the humanism. It's all welcomed. It's all a part of this journey. It's how we sort it, how we carry it, that matters. But I think that if people could remember me for being human and helping other people be human, I think that would be the greatest legacy I could leave.
That's lovely. And I think you're in the right path. Your energy is infectious, you're positive. What you're doing this for is very positive and humanistic. So I think you're on the right path.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad our paths crossed and we got the chance to chat. This has been great.
It's been great. All right, Courtney, thank you very much and
Thank you.
see you in the next one.
Yes, till next time.
Till next time. Oh, before we go, actually, the app. What's the app? Where can people find it?
Oh,
Well, the name.
airoutapp.com. On there, you will find links to Apple Store and Google Play, and you can
Mhm.
download them there. It's free to download. Try it out. Just please, please try it. Don't be scared. Just start to open up. You deserve it. Like, do it for you. Don't tell anybody. Just do it and watch and feel how your body responds. And I promise you, there'll be an immediate reaction to it.
Yeah. Trust me, this is just this. I've been pitched so many apps. This is not just another app. At least try it for the laughs.
Yes.
It's fun. It's a fun experience. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it, but tonight I might just have a very good read before I delete it. It doesn't matter. Try it out. It's fun. Tell your friends. Go get it.
Yes, it is there for you. It is your tool to feel better. That's all it is.
Lovely. Fun stuff. All right. Thank you, Courtney.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.